Right, so thank you so much, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you find yourself across the globe. Thank you so much for honoring this new invitation. I must begin by apologizing for the late start. We actually had to start this session an hour ago, but you all know what we go through here when it comes to schedules. Things do change, you know. Before you know it, things are changing. But we try to adjust just so at the end of the day, we still do it. The most important thing is doing it. Even if it comes late, at least we would have done it. So once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your patience. So for those of you who are not new to this platform, well, you know what it is all about. Once again, thank you for coming. But if you are coming to this platform for the very first time, then I think this is an opportunity to know exactly what it is all about. So I'll take just a few seconds to reiterate what the Progress webinar is all about. So it's just a platform uh, that brings us together to interact, share our stories, which stories we think can inspire us, can motivate us, and maybe let us to take the next step. A step which we might have been hesitant or we might have been feet dragging to take. But after listening to a story on this platform, you don't know. You could just get up and start taking that step. And like I always say, we really don't know where this is leading us to, but I have the strong conviction that it is leading us to somewhere, someday, somehow. So once again, thank you so much. My name is Ernest Kanjo. For those of you who know me on radio, good. But this is not radio. We'll talk about radio when we're done with this. This is a different platform, even though Apex One Radio is also a partner to this initiative. So we would not do the usual general introduction where everyone comes and talks about themselves, but we will do that during our Q&A session. So each time you mount the rostrum to ask a question, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and say a few things about yourself. So we usually begin by having some housekeeping rules, just so we know exactly how to run the platform. The first thing is when we are not talking, we should do well to mute ourselves, just so any external noise doesn't get into the system and interrupt us. Then when it's your turn to speak, just indicate by either a show of a physical hand or just use the digital icon. Just raise your hand using the digital icon and I will usher you into, I'll usher you to speak. Then we are going to have it in two phases. There's going to be the speaker phase and the Q&A, which is going to be questions and answers. And like I said, make sure you have a glass of water with you because the stories will be quite interesting, quite interesting. All right, so today we have two speakers as usual. Thank you, Sadoshan. He has his bottle of water. So as usual, we're going to have two speakers who will tell their stories. Thereafter, we will quiz them. So we'll have speaker number one tell their story, then we engage them in the question and answer session. Same thing with speaker number two. Then we will have 2 to 3 minutes for general questions, like you can direct your question to whichever speaker you like to at the end of the day. Then the last 2 minutes will be to assess the session. We also need to assess ourselves, just so we can improve in the subsequent sessions. That is very important. We'll probably have the certificate awards at the end of the session as well. So I guess we are set to go. Like I said, we have two speakers as usual, a male and a female today. For the past two editions, we've had only female speakers. Fortunately, today we are having a male. We have Winstina. Well, for some reason, both speakers are coming from the healthcare background. One of them is a nurse, the other is a medical doctor. Yet, they are also engaged in other things, and they are so talented in those things. Winstina is an actress and a film producer, while Sevo Nchifor is a musician, a recording artist. So they have films and music to their credit, some of which we will take a few seconds to see here. Right, so I guess we are good to go, and this is the third edition of the Progress webinar. Once again, you are welcome. So we are going to begin with our first speaker for the day. Like I said in the synopsis, Winstina hails from Sierra Leone. She is a nurse by profession. She has been practicing nursing in the United States for quite some time now. But one thing about her is she doesn't just depend on nursing to tell her story to the world. She uses her talent in acting to also tell the story of nursing in the United States. For those of you who live in the United States and who might have heard about nursing in the United States, it's a whole world on its own. It goes beyond just healthcare, taking care of people, but it's a whole world. Nursing comes along with so many stories, some of which Winstina has told in her movies. So she'll be telling us about that. She's also a philanthropist. She's done quite a lot. She's had a good number of humanitarian interventions back in Sierra Leone. We all know the history of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is coming from a history of civil war, Ebola, and today we have COVID. Winstina doesn't turn her back to all of that. She's quite involved with the social development of Sierra Leone. So she'll be telling us her story and more of that. So just before we introduce Winstina, who is our first guest today, I would like to share my screen for just one moment and have you watch this. Then it's going to be for just 1 minute, then we will have Winstina introduced to the rostrum. So just watch this.
Sometimes you just gotta blow things out of proportion.
You need to understand the difference between preferences and needs. Now, if you want to spend your money on that stuff, that's fine. But you need to go to Langley Park, get some Spanish dude to take care of that, because I won't deal with this shit anymore. What's going on with you? How dare you call my own mother a witch? Listen, you can deny me everything in this house, you can call me names, but don't you dare call my mother a witch.
Why you guys laughing? Don't you snore when you sleep?
No, I don't.
What are you doing here?
What does it look like?
I thought you were discharged 2 days ago.
Who are you, Medicaid or Medicare?
None.
Which mother of yours?
Take that Bible away from my face.
Of my dead body.
Damn, let's. Here you go. Thank you very much. Damn,
What has happened to you? What is
the devil, Casper! The devil! Did you come
So you just watched the trailer of Nurses from Hell. That's one of Winstina's works. She has a good number of other films she's done. Winstina, I'm not going to belabor the point here. So you are the first speaker today. For 10 minutes, I would like you to tell your story to these scores of people who have gathered here today. So Winstina, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Honest, for including me in this platform. And thank you, everybody, for being part of it. We truly appreciate you taking your time out to come hear our stories that we have. Us, I would say, as an African girl, having the opportunity to grow up in America give me a brighter, I would say, perspective of life because I can say I have the best of both worlds. I was born in Sierra Leone and I came to America at a younger age and I learned American culture while I already have my African background and my African culture. So I would say I'm the product of best of both worlds, if you can say it that way. Let me just first of all start out by saying my name is Winstina Taylor. I I am from Sierra Leone. I am a registered nurse. I have my master's in nursing education. I am in school right now pursuing my doctorate in nursing, which I should be concluding by next year. Um, and I'm doing most of my field and more so on my dissertation that I'm trying to do is on diabetic in Sierra Leone in the elderly is to try to more so educate people about diabetes and how to manage it and how it affects you as an African person. Because sometimes as Africans, we don't believe in all of these things. We put it into something else that is, I would say, our culture. When we don't understand something, we reverse to what we know. So it's good for people that are well educated to go back and educate our people, especially the ones in the villages, the rural areas in Africa that don't have the opportunity to the American culture, the American world, or to a television. Some of them don't have the opportunity to watch television because there's no electricity. So in that aspect, that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this educational piece and doing research on how diabetic affect our elderly population in Sierra Leone. So I am vividly working on it. So hopefully it'll be accepted, but I'm kind of having fun gathering all the information and how I'm gonna go back home to educate people. So that's one of, I would say, my educational background. It was not easy getting to the level where I am. So sometimes I tell people in life you have to be perseverance in anything that you want or in anything you want to do. I would say my story started off as a young girl, just to give you a background. I did have best of both worlds, but sometimes coming in as a younger girl in America, you tend to lose your way. So I say as a young girl, I would say, I was a teenage mother. So I have my daughter at a young age, at the age of 16. So sometimes you feel like all your dreams have been crushed. You don't have no other way to go because you feel like, okay, I'm 16, I have a child. How am I going to pursue my dream? One of my dreams as a young girl is always to be an actress, is always to act. So after having my daughter, I feel like all my dreams are shattered because where am I going to leave my child to pursue an acting career in America, going to auditions, doing all this? So I kind of pushed my dream away. I say, okay, you know what? Let me just go to school. Let me do my mom want me to be a nurse, so let me just do nursing and that's it. So basically, I put my dreams away to make sure I do what's best, I'll say, for my daughter. So I did. I went to school, became a nurse. But after I became a nurse, sometimes your dreams still linger on. It's like it's just have that niche that this is something I love to do. I started basically writing little little. I was always a poet writing in high school. I had like poet merit of poet awards was in the multicultural clubs. I was in anything that has to do with theater or acting. I was always involved in it, even in the community. As long as there's something, even in church, I was in the dance group. We were like one of the teachers of doing. So I always know that's something I love to do. But I did do nursing, and I love nursing because I believe it's tied into my acting skills. Because in nursing, you have to educate somebody, you have to be compassionate, you have to be caring, you have to show that empathy. Again, I always first check it as that's also acting. Because if you're not sympathetic or if you don't know how to show sympathy to a client or try to educate them to know better with their disease, how are they gonna know what they're supposed to do? So basically, I believe that's the aspect I brought into nursing. So sometimes most of the situations that we go through as nurses, you have some situation where you get report of nurses maltreating clients, and you got some report where clients are maltreating nurses. So you put all of those aspects into nursing. So basically, after I finished my nursing school, and I believe I became a little adult, I said, okay, let me create all these stories that I've seen and bring it into the big screen, the movie screen. So that's how I incorporated my first couple of movies that I did. I did Agony of a Home Health Aide because I do work in a home health care setting, and we do have complaints or have the client treat the aide, how the aide treat the client. So all those little aspects of what goes on in the nursing field, I put a story together and I got a screenplay writer to put it into visual. So that's how the birth of my first production came about. Agony of a Home Health Aide is based on a African girl coming in and trying to work. She was a princess back home. As we know, when we leave back home, sometimes our story completely change. We might be in Africa and we will have everything going for us. We might be well to do. We have cooks, we have maids, we have people doing everything for us. We have our background education. And then when we enter America, it's like everything shifts. It's like we're starting all over. Sometimes people get lost in that ramp. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. So most of the time, I believe when we come here, if you meet your relative into the nursing field, they push you into the nursing field. Sometimes you might not be passionate about nursing, but you just feel like you don't have no choice. That's where you have to start. It's a start. We all have to start. So that's how I incorporated Agony of a Home Health Aide. She didn't want to be a home health aide. She was a princess back home, but when she came here, is a total different ballgame. She had to learn how to be a home health aide. She had to learn to catch a bus. She had to learn how to go to work and basically had to learn a different culture of how clients speak to her. But her empathy and her caring and want to do better or know that she needs to do better got her through that point. And that's how I incorporated
Okay, apparently we have issues there with Winstina's sound. I don't know if she wants to go off then return. Let me see what.
talking about.
Winstina, you are breaking.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, you may have to adjust your sound.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you can hear me now better?
Okay, it's
Is
getting
it
better.
better?
Yes, getting better.
Okay. Okay. So I wasn't too sure what aspect of what you heard, and I apologize. It might be my computer screen or whatsoever. But again, as I said, then we came about our second production, which was Nurses from Hell. And Nurses from Hell came again through experience that I went through, we've been through. So it became is about a set of African ladies, different walks of life and what they go through in their marital home, and how sometimes our husbands that we bring from back home when they come, they don't want to work with us. And sometimes us as ladies, we feel as though because we brought our husbands here, we're gonna treat them a certain way. They're gonna have to abide by our rules, what we want, what we need, demean them, talk to them however. When our culture that we were raised back home is not like that. The husband is the breadwinner of the house. So sometimes those aspects, those conflicts that goes on in different marital homes, that's what was Nurses from Hell. It came on a humorous way. So it's like it's funny what was happening or what the nurses were doing, but then you see the storyline is intense and it relates. A lot of people relate to it. But we brought the humor and the nursing aspect of it. That's why it's called Nurses from Hell. Because when the nurses at work, it's creating havoc for the client. And then when they go at home, is a different way. Either the wives are creating havoc for the husband, or the husband don't want to do um something positive towards the marital home. So that's what Nurses from Hell was about. Very rare. As I said, I tie in my experience with nursing. It wasn't easy. It's not an easy task. It's not like it was an easy road for me to get where I am. As I started my story, I was a teenage mother, and I had to go through that struggle where I felt I wasn't good enough, where I felt I wasn't going to graduate from high school, but I had to, I was persevere, and I had to prove to myself that I can do it. So I had to put aside the fact that I am a teenage mother, put myself through high school because I had my daughter when I was in the 10th grade. So now we had to go from 10th grade, a child having a child, all those educational aspects that we had to go through. So I had to try to put myself through college. It wasn't easy. I wanted to be a teenager, but at that time I was a mother. So I had to put my child first while going through all these aspects. And I was strong enough and I went through all the hurdles to get my nursing degree. From there, I went back to my first love, which is my passion of doing acting. That's how I started my acting career. And in all the midst of it, I know I'm a generous and a helpful person. So with the acting came where my charities got involved, where created the
Okay, Winstina's sound is not the best. I hope
yeah,
that she will have to do
yeah.
something about it. Tina, do you want to adjust your mouthpiece, perhaps?
Hello,
Yes, it's better now.
is this better?
Yes, far better.
That's much.
You just have to adjust your mouthpiece. I guess that's where there's a problem. So just get closer to your mouthpiece. Uh, are you using the mouthpiece on the headphones?
One second. Yeah, I was using my yeah. So let me remove it. Let
Mm.
me see if it get better.
Okay, give it another try.
Hello,
Yes, it's better now.
is it better?
Uh,
Okay, great. I apologize for that. Um, so I started, as I was saying, I started a foundation with my mom called Immaculate Charity, and then I opened a foundation where we try to feed the poor, educate the rural in Sierra Leone, and any contribution we can do, like with the Ebola, when Ebola was in place, we did do some educational pieces. We sent money back home. We created venue for the family that was affected. And then in Sierra Leone, we also have, like, we are going through now the pandemic of the COVID-19. So we did an educational sensitization for all African. We did a video with one of my award company that we just did this past weekend, SLAAM organization. We did a video educating people, and with my charity, we gave some buckets, some hand sanitizer, water where they can wash their hand, give away food. And every year, I started it in 2018, I do a 25 days of Christmas in Africa. So I found the most poorest family, and for the whole 25 days of Christmas until Christmas, we feed them. I get them food, clothes, and then I give them gifts on Christmas Day, just to help. My little way of saying thank you. I always have this belief, or I have this thing where I say I am put on this earth to advocate, to help, to assist, and to put a smile on everyone's face that I come across. That's my work in life, that I feel that's my path. And I always tell people I do that with fashion and style and while smiling. You will never catch me going out without you see me fashionable. But at the same time, I believe I have a heart of gold where I want to help anyone and everybody. As long as you need the help and I'm able to find avenues to assist or to help, even if I can't give you money, if I know a connection where I can assist you to get to the level where you need to go, I'm there. If somebody's coming from Africa where they don't know which way to go, most of the time it seems like people find me to try to help them. And one of my help, or one of my way that I can help in America, I have me and my mother run a nursing agency in the District of Columbia. If somebody come that we know you need help, the best I can do, because we have a nursing school, I can put you through that line for you to go to school, become a home health aide. You start working so you can create money and avenue for yourself. It costs a fee, but what I do is waive that fee. So you can come in, learn. When you start working, you can pay that fee back, because we still have to make money to help the next coming people that are coming. So I'm not saying it's free, but because I know you don't have the starter funds to help, we do waive it. And we assist you, we help you until you start working. When you start working, making fun for yourself, then you can start returning that payment little by little until you're finished what you're doing. So in America, those are the steps, or those are the things we take to try to assist and help as much as we can. If it's not about a job, maybe you're going through something. So we set up a network, a team of helping people. I more so concentrate on my African descendant, or the people that are coming here from Africa that are struggling. And the reason why my concentration is more on there, like I said, I'm an African, I'm a child from Africa, and I believe I know my mother's story, what she went through when she came in America. So we try as much as possible to help people in that lineage, to make sure we help as much as possible. There's some people that come, maybe they don't have documentation. How do we help them? What do we do? What avenues do we take them so they can be properly documented, so they can start working? Because if you're not properly documented, it's very difficult for you to work in America. So those are some of the things that we face, and those are some of the things that we try to assist as much as possible in America. And in Africa, we put in our charities to work to help people that need help, and channel it into helping them with food, helping them with school. However we're able to help, we try our level best to help on that avenue. Thank you so much for giving me the ears to listen to my little niche story. That's what it is. And I'm at the place now in my life where I would say I'm comfortable and I'm helping as much as I can, but I'm learning along the road. It's not an easy road. You have to make sure you have a network of people that is able and willing to assist you and put yourself in a positive atmosphere, in a positive way for you to move forward in life. But if you keep yourself with negative people and negative energy, you will never get where you need to go, because all they're doing is just dragging your energy that you're trying to bring. So I always believe to surround yourself with positive going people, surround yourself with positive network that will get you to the level where you need to go. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
And thank you so much, Winstina, for sharing that very beautiful and inspiring story. As you must have noticed, Winstina is she's at work all the time, so it's not easy to get her do stuff like this because she will always be speaking from her job site. That tells you the kind of person she is. Very committed, not only to herself, but helping scores of people out there. So she does things back in Sierra Leone. She also helps people right here. She has shared that story, and I guess we need to start offering our hearts to people like you, Winstina. So thank you so much for sharing this story. Over the years, I've asked Winstina scores and scores of questions. I've known her for 7 years, as a matter of fact. It's been from one interview to the other. So I believe I've asked her all the questions. Asking some of the questions here today will be needless. So I'll probably just like to let others do the questioning. So at this point, let's engage Winstina in the Q&A. I can see Daniela ready, her hand raised. So Danielle, over to you. First question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Winstina. I was so inspired listening to your story. I'm so excited. So listening and seeing all these powerful ladies, and you're really making a great difference. And there was actually, let me try to introduce myself in a very brief way. Like, I am an author. I'm coming from Cameroon, and I'm speaking directly from Douala. Yeah, Douala, Cameroon. And I am an author. I'm a social media marketer. And, I just launched my online business, Creative Dream Academy, where I help coaches, experts, and entrepreneurs to build a powerful brand online and to stand out as authority in their niche. So as you were speaking, despite the fact that the line keeps breaking, like I was asking myself a lot of questions, like, wow, I saw here that you are a nurse, an actress, a humanitarian, and I kept asking myself, how do you do all this? Like managing all of this. Like, we know how demanding, especially when you're a nurse, we know how demanding it can be. So just tell me, how do you organize yourself to make sure that you do everything, and be best? Because actually I'm seeing you're making some great progress and you're able to have, you're striking the balance between the three, your different activities. So what is the secret? Actually, why am I asking that question? Because I just actually started. I believe I'm a starter, and I've always been finding challenges, balancing, striking, getting that balance between work or maybe having two different types of work I do. So actually, just tell me the secret, maybe getting from you have been into it for long. So what is one thing that actually, what is your secret, and what is one thing that you can tell some young ladies like me who are getting started? So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, Danielle. First of all, before I answer your question, let me just say you have a beautiful smile. I love your smile and your personality come through the screen. You do, and I love that. And thank you so much. And I'm happy that at least you get to hear my story that I share. But one thing I've learned throughout the whole year, the number one thing I have that I would tell you to learn early in your starter is to learn to say no. No. Because if you say yes to everything, you're not going, the old saying where they say master, what do they say? Jack of all trade, master of none.
Yeah, master of none, yeah.
Yes. So you cannot say yes to everything. Everything is going to look enticing. It's going to look like, oh, I can do this. Because sometimes we think we're superwoman and we're not. So the best thing that you need to learn how to do that I have to learn in the years is to know my niche, know what I love, and stick with it. Any new trend, anything new that come, no thank you. Can you do this? If I know that this is going to take me off my balance, no, not right now. Maybe I can try it next year. So I had to learn how to say no, no, no. And yes to the thing that is progressing me to get where I need to go. Sometimes it is a slow stride, but every what do they usually say? They say a trip of 1,000 miles start with one step.
One step, yeah.
One step. That one step that you take, as long as you're taking it to the right direction, I don't care if it takes you 20 years, you're gonna get there. Just don't let yourself deteriorate or give up or lay down or start striving back. Say, oh, this is too much. Let me return back where I started. So it's like you returning back, wasting your time versus continuing to go. So just learn how to say no, and balance what you love to do.
Thank you. Actually, thank you so much. You really answered my question because I have that greatest, I mean, that's actually one of my greatest challenges, saying no to, like, I feel like everything is appealing and interesting. Thank you. So thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And yes, I learned to say no. I guess I'm guilty of that. It's very difficult for me to say no. And that has over the years been my biggest stress. I don't know how to say no. I'll probably have to teach myself how to do that. Each time I try to say no, I feel like I'm hurting some feelings. So, but I guess with so much, coming in, this overcrowdedness, you need to learn how to say no. Thank you so much for that, Winstina. Solange has been waiting and itching to ask her question. Solange, if you are getting me, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Winstina, for sharing your story. I'm Solange. I am a motivational speaker, a writer, and a relationship coach. And I want to really say your story has really inspired me today. I mean, it is such an inspiring story. Thank you for sharing your heart out with us. And in fact, to say the least, it's so brilliant that you could take, your nursing profession and you tie with your acting career. I really think that is just genius. That is just genius because I think that our society today is so visual, and sometimes some lessons are only communicated through when people watch like movies. I was watching a movie yesterday and I was literally crying like a baby because of the lessons I learned from that movie. It touched my heart so deep. And I think that is so brilliant. What you did and what you're doing, it is so brilliant. And I think a lot of us immigrants can relate to it because that's most of the stories we've come here, we know how it is from the beginning. And that's equally my struggle when I came. My parents always wanted me to be a nurse from back home. And I was starting to be a nurse from back home. But when I got here, a lot of things changed for me. I realized I had a passion for public speaking and writing. And so we've always had that conflict. So I want to ask, how did you go about, merging your career as a nurse and equally with your acting career as well? How did you go about merging both? How did you go about finding the connections and the people to work with to bring that dream into reality?
Thank you so much, Solange, for that question. I truly appreciate it. I can't see your face.
I know.
But I can hear it. Yes, but I can hear it through your voice that you are a motivational speaker because you wanted me to. I wanted to hear some more when you're speaking. I can hear that, but
thank you.
But honestly speaking, you're welcome. When it comes down to my career as nursing, trust me, my mother had to fight me to be a nurse.
Wow, I can relate.
I didn't want to be a nurse. But what she had told me was, which she also kept to her word, she said, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Do the nursing. When you finish with the nursing, give me my paper. Whatever else you want, I'm going to support you. So that was my motivation. I said, okay, let me see. Let me go to school real quick. I'm not going to take long. I just want to finish with this nursing so I can go on with my acting career. That was my motivation. I just went. But at the process of doing the nursing, I came to find out I can tie my passion with nursing.
Wow.
So when I finish now with all the stories, with my practicum, with working with her, having her own nursing agency, it made me want to leave the nursing agency, but then I was still lingering, loving my acting. And I said, you know what, because I'm a kind of, just like you said, I'm a visual person. I said, you know what, I can put this stuff I'm going through on picture. If I put it on picture, then it will make sense. That means now I have my passion and I get the mom what she want and I'm making money through it.
Right, exactly.
That's how I tie all of it together. But when we started, because of the era where I started, honestly, in the DMV area, it was a lot of Nollywood actors coming through. So thank God we were connected to the correct individual that really connected me where I need to go. I started honestly, like how I met Mr. Koja Honest. I started with Akim Macaulay. He was actually from Cameroon. He was somebody that we met that really connected us to do that. Nurses from Hell and Scarlet, and I also did The Agony of a Home Melting. So those movies, God willing and God able, they were put on the right channel and they went places. And through those 3 production, I really learned a lot. And there was some difficult time, don't get me wrong. Everything was not like, okay, it just went to platinum and gold. There was some fight, there was some kicks, there was some argument, there was everything involved. But at the end of the day, you just have to be strong and know where you're trying to get to and just keep strong and keep doing what you do. As long as you in God and you believe in yourself, don't never give up. And I know you will get there. I'm still not where I want to be, but by the grace of God, I'm taking my steps towards my journey. And at the end of the day, some of my belief I have, I don't want to go to God and God asks me the gift I gave you, what did you do with it? I was like, I had kept it. He would know I was trying by looking at what I've done. He said, you know what? My daughter, you tried your level best. That's all you can do on earth. Just keep trying and God will do the rest.
Thank you so much for that answer, because acting is one of the things I intend to do someday. I'm already writing scripts, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know where to get the connections. I don't know the people and all that stuff. Yes, I'm gonna hook up with you.
Definitely, I'm open. You can, we can motivate each other. You're a motivational speaker. We can motivate each other. If you need any assistance, any help, trust me, I'm open. I'm always available.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll hook up with you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
That is one of the raison d'etre for this platform. We come here, we meet people, we hear their stories, and who knows, we can inspire each other, and it goes from there. And at the end of the day, we are doing some collaborative projects. Winstina, thank you so much. And like I said, yours is a very noble story, noble mission. Whoever puts a smile on the faces of others is, I mean, is a blessing, not only to that individual, but a blessing to the entire community. So we still want to thank you so much. In the course of the conversation, if you have any other question for Winstina, then bring that question after the second speaker must have spoken. Then we will go from there. So Winstina, thank you so much. You are not going away yet. Just stay in the background. And if you find comments, remarks, or questions for your co-speaker, do well to, don't hesitate to come up and ask those questions as well. So Winstina, once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I'm here.
All right. So our next speaker is another young African with a very fascinating story. And as we speak, I guess he's just from the theater or from work, but you will probably see him in his medic outfit. So he's a medical doctor, yet he is a very talented musician, a recording artist, of course. Before we bring Sevo Nchifor on the rostrum, I would like us to have a bite of what he has done. So when we do that, then we will bring him to the rostrum for his own story. So I'm going to share my screen once again for just 1 or 2 minutes for us to.
I just got my cashback match. Is this for real? Yeah. We match all the cashback new card members earn at the end of their first year automatically. Woo, I got my money.
Okay, so
let it go.
Get a dollar for dollar match at the end of your first year, only from Discover.
Okay, so that's just a bite of Dreadful. Dreadful is a track he did in the terrible days of COVID-19, the early days of COVID-19, of course, when people used to pass away like no man's business. He was a frontline worker. He saw danger, but he's here today to tell us the story and just how he fuses his music and his profession as a medical doctor. Sevo Nchifor, thank you so much for accepting to be one of the speakers in this third edition of the Progress webinar. So over to you.
Thank you for inviting me over, sir. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be part of this, and especially being the first male speaker. I heard you said it's all like the first first 2 times were females. So I'm the first male, so it's a privilege. Sorry, I'm just coming back from work. I had to run from work, so that's why you see me in my scrubs. So I am Sevo Nchifor, originally from Cameroon. I am from the northwest region of Cameroon. I relocated to the United States in December 2009. I went straight to North Dakota because I wanted to go to school. North Dakota, there's a lot of, there's no distraction and you can really focus. That's why I picked North Dakota. When I went to North Dakota in December 2009, I started college in September 2010, and I did my first degree in mathematics. Obtained my bachelor's degree in mathematics after 4 years. I had minors in chemistry, psychology, biology, and statistics. I did that. I did that because I wanted to be more competitive to get into medical school. So I applied to medical school after 4 years. I got into medical school, went to Michigan for medical school, and I'm currently in Cleveland, Ohio, in my 3rd year of residencies in specialization. So by God's grace, I should be graduating by the end of next year. So that's a brief of my story. I also, I am a musician. I started singing in June 2019. Always had a passion for music. I grew up with my father, who was a very interesting figure, a very big prominent figure in my village in music, like bottle dance. It's local type of music. It's very localized. So I can say I inherited that from him. That's why I decided to bring it to the world so that people can. It's always good to bring out your talents. So when I started residency, I was really struggling because I was 90% of my time I was in the hospital. When I get home, I was so tired, I couldn't do anything else. I wasn't liking myself, so I thought of something. People told me to pick up something that would make me happy. So I decided to pick up music. Started that like a joke, and it turned out to be very, very, very helpful. When I come home from work and I go to my studio, I get some practice. I kind of forget about what I've seen at work, because you see a lot of terrible things at work. Sometimes when you come home, especially coming from Africa, you don't really have that strong heart. These people here, they're already used to like strong, like see certain things that just don't worry about it. But with me, growing up, I spent most of my life in Africa. I couldn't really get over things like that. But when I started music, when I come home, I go to my studio. That makes me to forget some of the things that I've seen at work. Up till now, I still find it very difficult to deal with death. When my patient dies, I struggle with it a lot. Sometimes I'll have to talk to someone or my colleagues who are pure Americans who are already used to this. They will talk to me, I will talk about it, and that helps. But music has been the real thing that has helped me get over things like that. Another reason why I pick music is because music helps me get to people. I'm a philanthropist, and I like to help people. With music, I help a lot of people through music, because I have a lot of my fans who contact me and complain. You can see they have genuine complaints. When people complain to me, I send my people back home and they investigate. And if I see that that person is really struggling and it's a hardworking person, I would have to give something for that person to like set up a business, small business. But I've also run into some sort of disappointments. I have had someone back home told me that they want to send this IDP kids in Douala to school, and I send money, and the person that I sent the money to didn't actually do that and just stopped talking to me. But that did not stop me from doing what I do. I like to help people, and I will continue doing that. So that is one of the reasons why I went into music, to help people who are really struggling. I've also talked a lot of people into medical school. Currently I have about 4 people into medical school that I've convinced. I've actually convinced people who have had PhDs and they're struggling, and I have a lot of friends who are very smart. I will talk them into going into medical school. It's never too late to go into medical school. So yeah, so I am not really, don't really talk much. I act more than I talk. So if anyone has questions, they can go ahead and ask.
Okay, right. So thank you so much. He asks more than he talks.
Yeah.
We know medics don't talk much, but they do a lot. Before Sevo came to the restroom, I shared part of his work. Looks like the sound was muted. Is that the case? Did you get the sound of his music? If you did, then I will not need to repeat it. If you did not, then I can take 60 seconds to do that again. Did you get the sound? Did you get the sound of his music when I played it?
No. No, actually.
Okay, yes. Okay, so somebody mentioned that behind the scenes. So let me just take a few seconds and watch this track he did.
Have you seen this space-age roofing product that lowers energy bills without solar panels or batteries? This.
Okay, so we all got that. I remember when the artist was recording this track, he had to go deal with COVID-19 patients at the front line, then come back home and record that experience in this song. So he did the song in the early days of COVID when America was really hard hit. But he had the courage to do this. And I remember talking with him on radio then, and I mean, the story he recounted was really dreadful, just like the title of this track. But then we've heard his story, and I guess we have questions for him. Solange, do you have a question for him? I see your hand raised.
Oh, my hand was still raised from last time.
Oh, okay.
But I'll come back after any other question.
All right, sure. So let's find out who has questions or a question for our second speaker.
I have a question.
Okay. Who's going?
Joe.
I can hear you.
George.
George, come in.
Yes.
All right, George, over to you.
Okay, I just want to find out from the present speaker. I'm still to catch the relationship between music and helping people back home. He mentioned that when he was talking about music and what music has done, the impact music has played in his life, and that kind of a thing. And then he went into relating that, you know, helping people back home, sending people to schools, helping the IDPs and the rest. So I just want to know the relationship between music and, you know, helping people back home, as just mentioned.
Great.
Hey, George, that's a very good question. So,
I'll just, so y'all may
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I guess you can hear. I guess you can hear you.
Okay. So what I meant by helping people is that I don't usually know. I don't know a lot of people. I've been here for a very long time, for more than like almost 12 years. So I have this thing I do online, like a giveaway. So do a giveaway to my fans. Before I give them money for any business, I have to have someone go and investigate to make sure what they're telling me is the truth. So I don't want to give it to people who give money to people who go take the money and go and drink alcohol. No, I don't want to do that. If you tell me you are very resourceful, you need money to do business, like they open up like a call box or set up like a small business in front of your house, and I send people and they investigate, and that is the truth, then I will give the money to you to start up a business. And I know that through, I know the people through music. They're my fans, they're music fans.
Okay, so I guess that response answered your question. Okay, right. So like you said, when you are a musician, you are also an opinion leader. You are a leader in the community, and so you have that social responsibility to care for people, especially the ones who also help you grow in what you're doing, because they consume your
so you guys go walk around a little bit.
Okay. Looks like Danielle is back. Hey, Danielle, do you have a question? Time. We are getting some noise in the background. I don't know where that is coming from. So can we just unmute ourselves when we are not speaking, please? Okay, let's mute ourselves when we are not speaking. Thank you. Danielle, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a little question.
Okay, go right ahead.
You know, as Wolfgang was speaking, I picked up something like he said somewhere that actually, you know, yeah, if I got it right, of course. He said somewhere that actually, you know, he really wanted to do something he's passionate about, apart from being a medical doctor, apart from what he was studying in school, and someone advised him to do music. So I was like asking myself, like, you know, did you just do it because did you just get into music because someone advised you, or you know, I know exactly. I know actually that you said after it you found out that that was something you were passionate about. But my question is, did you just get into it? I mean, did you really examine yourself to know if that's something that you really want to get into? And also, you talked about helping people, your fans, helping people to set up their own businesses, and I was like, do you have an organization under which you do that, or do you just do it like that? You know, so those are just my two questions.
Okay, so to ask the answer to the first question, so maybe you didn't hear what I said. I said I was struggling, and somebody said you should pick up something you really like. Yeah, so I decided to pick on music. So initially, I thought because residency here is here, you don't have time for yourself. So I thought I would start my music career after I graduate from residency. That's the end of next year. But somebody advised me to pick up something that I really like. So I started this like a joke. I started like a joke in June 2019, just to see if I can join the two together. And when I started, after 2 months, I realized that my life was different. So that's why I just decided to go with the two together, instead of waiting to graduate from training from specialization before I go into music. Does that answer the first question?
You can unmute yourself, Danielle.
Yes.
Okay, the answer to your second question, that's a very good answer, very good question. So I don't know which organization to trust back home. I have tried a couple of people, like people that I really trusted, and they disappointed me big time. So I decided to go do it this way. I go on popular websites like Mifo, and other things like that. I do a giveaway on that website. We do a giveaway, and we maybe say we'll give money to like 5 people. When the 5 people, because it's going to be thousands of people who are going to apply. So we're going to read into those comments, and we send people back home. I send my people back. I have a lot of friends back home to investigate. When they investigate and they see that these people who are telling me this thing are telling me the real thing, that they really need this business. First of all, you have to prove that they are themselves, because people can use ghost accounts on online. So you have to first of all prove that those people are real people. After that, they have to send people to investigate that these people really need help. They don't want to take the money and do things like smoke cigarette or drink beer or commit crimes with the money. Okay. So that's the difficult part. And these people that I have home, I trust them a lot, but I don't have an organization. If you have an organization that you can recommend, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, I'll reach out to you. Maybe, if it will be interesting. Actually, I feel like it will be interesting for you to have an organization under which you're operating.
Yeah.
So we certainly get in touch maybe after this, and
Yeah, could I have your? I didn't. Could I have your? You said you just created, you just opened up something. Can I have that? Can you?
Yeah, I just opened. I actually started my online business I'm just about helping coaches, experts, and entrepreneurs to build a powerful brand online, because I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs in here and are experts, especially in Africa, but they don't know exactly how to market themselves in a way that they will attract their ideal clients to them. So I do that through profile optimization. I'm also very, I know the power of personal branding. So I do a lot of personal branding for my expert. I do personal branding. So I do profile writing and optimization, because one thing I always tell people is, like, when you're applying for a job, when you're applying for whatsoever, let it be speaking engagement or whatever, the first thing people would do is that they will go online and Google your name, and you need to start monitoring. You need to start being conscious about everything that is written about you, because people always search. So I do profile optimization, brand awareness, top leadership, and I do lead generation for those who want to do online prospection, who want to get clients through the social media platform. So actually, that's just something I started like less than a year now.
What is the name? What is the name of it?
Creative Dream Academy. Creative Dream Academy. Let me just.
Creative. Okay. Gym, like GYM.
Dream.
A dream. Okay.
Academy.
Okay. Are you on Facebook?
Sure, I am.
I will find you.
So let me just send all my social media handles. I have them all here. So
you said you're in Douala, right?
Yes.
I was in Douala like 3 weeks ago.
Anyway, no problem.
Okay,
yeah.
So that is the networking we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. So thank you so much, Daniel, for that for those questions, and thank you, Sevo, for those responses as well. So who else has a question? Remember, we will have 3 minutes to ask questions to both speakers, then 2 last minutes to assess the session. Then we will be out of here. But I don't know if there is any other question.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
I don't have
to go. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I don't actually have a question. I just wanted to tell Mr. Wolfgang that I love his music. I just Googled him and I love the African Mama, the song. And also just to tell Madame Winstina that I'm looking forward to her movie, which I think is the 26th. She didn't even mention that. There's a movie that she's premiering on the 26th of this month. Mimi Sese, I think she's also a actress in the movie. She invited me to it. So I look forward to meeting her. Is she on? I look forward to meeting her then. So it was basically just a comment. And
yes, I'm here.
Yes, good. I look forward to seeing you then. And Danielle, I just Googled you too on Facebook. I love your profile. I love what you're doing. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shiri. I'm happy that this initiative is yielding fruits. And like I said, it's going to take us somewhere someday. Let's keep moving. So my question is this: how do your colleagues in medicine view your work? Like we have a colleague who also sings and so on. So how do they appreciate you for this other gift? And secondly, you may just like to tell us the number of songs you've done, singles, albums, and the other artists you've collaborated with.
Okay, so first of all, some of my colleagues, they think I'm extraordinary to be in residency and doing music at the same time. Some of them have actually wanted me to get them involved in my music, one of my music videos, but I try to keep those two as separate as much as I can at work. I don't want to bring music to work. People talk about it. There's one of my songs, it was my second song, Sweetie Bum Bum. That is my name in the hospital. They just gave me that name just based on the song. So everywhere in the hospital, they call me Sweetie Bum Bum. What was the next question?
The number of singles you have in circulation. Do you have albums, EPs, and who are the artists you have collaborated with, or the ones you would love to do so?
So for the number of singles I have, I'll have to think about it. There's a lot. Especially on Spotify. I would think on Spotify it should be about 12. On YouTube should be about 6 or 7. And I've collaborated with Magasco. I also like to sing with like young upcoming artists, because there's a lot of talented artists back home who are very talented, but they don't have the means to express themselves. So one of my songs is my best live. I have about 5 or 6 of those kids in that song. I was also, last time I went to Cameroon, I was planning to do a song with Mr. Leo. But when I arrived Cameroon, I was so tired. I just couldn't do anything. I was just sleeping all day because I haven't had a vacation for like more than 6 months, and I was so tired. So I just gave up. I will find time and go back and do a collaboration with him. One other person I would like to do one with is Blanche Bailey, but I haven't talked to her yet. Also like to do one with Kamini, but I haven't talked. I know if I talk to Mr. Leo, I can do one with Kamini. So those are the few, but I have a lot of kids who are writing me, sending me songs. One of the things that I do on weekends is a lot of kids back home send me songs, and I have to listen because I'm trying to come up with a song that is going to be me and with about 8 of those kids, and I have to make sure I select them very well. I really want to select the really talented kids to do another song with.
Beautiful. So one of the things you do is to help young people who aspire to become musicians, but who may not have the means to do so, which is good. Okay. I don't know if there is any last question for him. Otherwise, I would have a very short last question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm here.
Yes, I do.
Okay, who is that, Solange?
Yes, Solange.
Go right ahead, Solange.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Dr. Nchifor, for sharing your story. You seem like a very, very focused person. You know, coming to the US, you knew exactly what you wanted. You knew what state to go to in order to be focused to pursue your medical career and to pursue it all the way to the end and achieve your goals. That's really impressive. And equally, my question for you to equally get into music, something that you love to do, and something that really relieves you from the stress or the struggles at work. But my question actually is, how do you deal with the challenges you face as a medical doctor with the things you see? And besides, I want to really, applaud you for, being a medical doctor and working throughout COVID. Like I was saying yesterday, I said, I don't know if I'm a doctor or nurse, I'm going to be able to do that. Yes, because it's like it's like a firefighter. There's fire in the building and everybody's running out, you're running in to save the people. That's how I see it. And as much as I love people, I don't think I would have been able to do that if I was a nurse or doctor, but I want to applaud you for being able to stand your ground and fight and try to save lives. But my question is, how do you deal with those tough challenges at work? Because that's one of the things my parents wanted me to be a doctor or a nurse. And I couldn't, because I know I can't handle blood. There are a lot of things I can't handle people in pain. I just can't. So that's why I did not go all the way. I only thought to settle for the basics as a caregiver. So how do you manage that? I know you said music is one of your outlets where you distress relieve the stress and all that stuff, and you express something that you love. So that keeps you going. But other than that, how do you handle the challenges? I know there are real challenges in there. Sometimes I know you all can't talk about it because that's part of the code. You cannot release those things out.
That's right.
But how do you deal with it?
First of all, Solange, thank you so much for your positive comments. I really appreciate them.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so that's why there's a lot of stress, especially in residency. You don't only have to be under stress, but they yell at you all the time. When your attendings or your bosses are stressed, they project that to you. So you are where they dump their stress to. So you have to be able to handle that. Growing up in Africa, when I was growing up, I was a little bit stubborn. So I could absorb any kind of abuses or slaps or caning. So things like that, I think have really helped me to absorb some shock here in the US. But things like somebody dying on the operating table, for me, I had one case like that. Actually, it took me like weeks to recover from it. And sometimes crying really helps. Sometimes I'll be really stressed and something will really hit me hard. I will go to my call room. I will sit there. I will cry for like 1 to 2 minutes. And
yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it helps. And with that, there's most of the stress is gone. Then talking to people. Being a resident and doing music, I barely have time for other things like having a girlfriend or doing things like that. Because you having a girlfriend here, they need time, and I don't have that time. So there are friends that I will call, and because I don't have someone to come home and talk to, there are friends that will call them at any time and they'll pick up my call. They know that if I call, I'm really serious, and I'll call and talk about things that I'm struggling with, and we'll talk about it, and that will help. Sometimes, especially on weekends when I'm off, I just drive somewhere. We'll drive for like maybe 5 to 8 hours to, we really have weekends off. We can have one day, 1 week, one weekend day off, but to have 2 weekend days off in a row is, it's rare. So when I have that opportunity, I'll just drive somewhere. I'll drive to Chicago, or I'll drive to Maryland, or I will fly to Texas, or I fly to Atlanta, and I will just stay in a hotel. Even sometimes here, my house is, I will drive maybe like 2 hours away from where I live. I'll go and spend the weekend in the hotel. And that those are some of the ways I distress myself from difficult things that I face at work.
Thank you for that.
Yep. Alcohol will be a means to do that, but if I drink alcohol, I'm very sensitive to alcohol. If I drink alcohol, I lose 1 day.
Wow.
So I don't go that route. Yep.
Okay, great question there, Solange. And
Ernest, please, a quick one here, please.
Okay, George.
Okay, please, this one on a personal note.
Yes, sir.
You just said you like a philanthropist, you like helping people. Mm-hmm. And someone in Douala was very, very interested to find out whether you have an NGO or something like that.
Yes.
But I know when you want to help people, maybe we are closer to them, you can help them better. I wish to find out from you whether you intend one day, maybe upon graduation, to go settle back home You know, Cameroon needs a lot of medical doctors now. Do you have any ambition to go back home upon graduation to sit with your people and help them? I think we need people like you back home. Thank you.
You have very tough questions. I need to take your number personally. You have very difficult questions. Okay, yeah. So unfortunately, you know, Cameroon doesn't allow for dual citizenship. So unfortunately, I can stay in Cameroon for 6 months, but staying in Cameroon permanently it's almost impossible since I'm an American citizen. But I intend to help Cameroon medically. I intend to build a big hospital in Cameroon. I'm going to build a big hospital in Cameroon. I already have plans in place. I was very fortunate to go through medical school here on a full ride, so I don't have enough loans to pay off. So the loans that I should have been paying, I will be investing that money in Cameroon on a hospital. I'll build a hospital in Cameroon, and I would be visiting maybe like once every month to see how things are going.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think I'm satisfied with that response. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm very happy I satisfied you.
That's a good one there.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Yeah, Mr. Wolfgang, I couldn't find you on Facebook.
Could you find me?
No.
Okay, can I type here? Let me just send it.
Couldn't probably because well, his name on Facebook should be
Sevo Nchifor.
Sevo Nchifor. Okay, so you can just use the chat option to send that information across.
I will do that. The one thing. So Solange, what you brought up something about an NGO. That is something that I'm really interested in, because it takes me so much time to investigate to see if somebody is telling me the truth and to trust somebody. So just recently, Camille put something on her Instagram page about a lady that was separating the fight between her two elder brothers, and she fell and had a stroke. She went to the hospital and she was treated, but she ran out of money. So they took her home. She was sent back home. She's a little child with she also has a child, but she's back home and she doesn't have money. So I was like, how do I get directly to this? Because I don't want to give it to through somebody. I've done that many times and I've been disappointed.
Yeah,
so
actually that's.
Fortunately, Camille, they gave me a number that I talked to the aunt, and the aunt went and met the mom to that lady, and I talked to them before I could give something for them to take that girl back to the hospital. So they called me when I was in the hospital. I had to leave the operating room and go out of the operating room to talk to her, because that was so much, it takes me so much time.
Stress.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that you need an organization, to really make things more if I can say official, and to do things right and to be sure that actually know how. So that's just my point. Like, it needs an organization, maybe with a team of people that can handle all that.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll reach out to you, and if you're interested in any collaboration, so
yeah, for sure. I don't believe in saving too much money. I just want to help people. You don't know how long you're going to live.
Okay. That's a nice one, beautiful, and again, that's the essence of this exercise. If at every session we do one positive thing, we would have contributed, our only quarter to development. So thank you so much. I guess we are doing the last stretch of this exercise. We'll be running up in the next few minutes. So at this point, if we have any other questions for either Winstina or Nchifor, then we should go ahead and ask that question. Otherwise, we should be running off. Any more questions? Any more questions? Meantime, I would enjoin Winstina and Nchifor to share their contacts in the chat option. So that
question.
Okay, I guess that's Mbole.
Yes, it is. Hi, everyone. I think I'll put my camera on. Hi, my name is Mbole. This question is for Sevo. Hi, Sevo. Nice to meet you again. Great.
Nice to meet you again.
To everyone. So my question to you is, do you ever think you get into like, I don't know, like motivational speaking or maybe coaching? And if somebody came to you from Cameroon and told you that they love to be a medical doctor or they want to get into the medical field, but they really are passionate in the creative arts side, such as music, what will you tell them?
Okay, and they're here. Are they people here or back home?
Back home.
Yeah, so usually I would tell them, because being a medical doctor, you have to really sacrifice. You have to work your socks off. So I would tell them to take one thing at a time. You have to achieve your goal as a medical doctor before you go back and start off your career in music. If you just want to start them together without going through medical school, I don't think you're gonna be able to make that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And great job. Yeah, great work to all of you. Yeah.
Going through medical school, if you're not tough, you're gonna drop out. There are a lot of people drop out here, especially Americans. They don't want stress. They was like, no, I'm done. And they're gone.
Yeah. Well, that's true. We all know how hard it is to go through a medical school. But then if some people do it and succeed, then, well, we can also try. That said, I guess we're about to run off. Is there any other question? If not, I'm going to ask my final question, the last one, of course. I'm fond of asking questions. If you don't stop me, I can go on and on. But this is going to be my last question. Now, music, just like any other form of art, could really be addictive, and you never know how it ends up. For instance, I know artists who have been in the field for so long, but one project comes and takes them to the highest height in the discipline. It could be you tomorrow. You could just release a single and you think that it's just going to be like any other single, but then that becomes you're done. Then you get to the height of it. So let's say you become, I don't know, I don't want to call names, but your music takes you to a Beyonce level, for instance. Then you become a billionaire in music. Are you going to drop the medical profession?
Big no. Medicine is the only thing I can do. Like, I would not, even if you pay me, if you start paying me $1 million per day now to stop doing medicine, I will not.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, it makes me happy. That's why they keep asking me, you sing like this, why are you here? Go and make money. I was like, are you crazy? It's what I love.
So that translates to the fact that money is not everything.
No. People keep telling people how much they're going to earn. I don't even know how much I'm going to earn as a medical doctor. I don't think in that direction. It's not all about money.
Right. So we want to thank you so much, Nchifor, and yours is a noble mission. You save lives. You don't only save lives in the hospital, but you also go out there and stretch your hand to help the community, which means that even your proceeds from music also go out there to help people. So the community cannot be grateful enough to people like you. Winstina Taylor, want to thank you so much as well. Both of you are in the medical field, and I also understand exactly why you also have humanitarian tendencies, because you see what people go through on a daily basis. You just need to step into an American hospital. An American hospital that is well equipped with the up-to-date medical equipment, but you see what people go through, then you start appreciating life. And when you turn around and start helping people, you know exactly what you are doing. So thank you so much for that. And also thank you for accepting to speak to us today. I guess we have learned one or two things. We are not going home empty today after listening to both of you. So we are going to take one last minute to assess this session. How was it? Did we hit the point? Is there anything we should improve on? Is there anything you think we should work on to improve this exercise? Anybody?
I guess we should have Mbole speak on every session because she's a great speaker.
Mbole was a previous speaker, and it was a fantastic one.
Yeah, she's a good speaker. Yeah.
Okay. So any last remark? So it is always good to assess what we do. We are doing the pilot phase of this project. We hope to experience many changes as time goes on. So this is just the start. Your ideas will be welcome, and feel free to contribute as much as you can. If you have any idea which you think can grow this platform, please don't hide it. Bring it forth, okay, and we will make great use of it. Danielle.
Yeah, I have a yeah, actually I have a little remark. You know, I think it was great because you keep actually bringing great people on board, where I actually have learned a lot from different people on here, and I'm really like, oh, I'm really blessed to be here, you know, meeting other people in various platforms in different in different countries actually, and in different professions we actually can learn from. Like, for example, what I learned from the first speaker was that you need to learn how to say no. And actually, I also learned from the second speaker that you can actually, you can actually do a job that is demanding. And I think I also learned from both workers, like a medical doctor. You know, I know how it is. Like I actually have one of my uncle who is a pharmacy and he's in the US and he has no time. Like, he's always busy.
That's right.
So actually, what I also learned from you is that you can always do what you want as long as you love what you're doing. No matter, you can always do one or two things or three things as long as you love what you're doing. There will always be time for you to actually handle everything. And I also learned that you have to learn how to give to other people, because there might be actually people out there that need your help, and
that's right.
You might not know. And one thing and for everybody is that it's great to share your story, because you might never know who needs your story until you share it. You might never know who needs your help actually. So one thing I would say is that I actually want this to grow big, because and the first time, the first session, I think last 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks, we spoke about creating, and maybe it can be a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group where we bring everybody together, and if there's any sessions or if there's any idea we can share there. Even a Facebook group, that will be interesting. And one thing I can also add is that actually last time you issued some certificates. That's actually a very great idea. And I also want to steal it from one of the, I actually coordinated one event last 6 months ago. And one thing that they do is like the masterclass initiative. So one thing they do is that they issue certificates, and the participants or the main speaker, they take some pictures with their certificates, and then they share with they share, and the organization will actually take it and share on their platform. So I think that would be great to not only issue certificate for everybody, but issue certificate and then we print them and take pictures with them and be shared on your platform. I think that will also be a way to encourage other people to come and participate, you know. So actually that would be all for me. Thank you so much.
That is so wonderful, Danielle. I was waiting for someone to actually enlighten me on how I could go about that. I've done some on PowerPoint, but I've been thinking of how I can do certificates for, I mean, individually, so people can print them. So, Danielle, I'll get with you. We'll work on that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to end this session with a very short story. Then you probably know from where I am coming. 12 years ago, precisely in 2009, a Cameroonian who was living in China then read an article I wrote about an upcoming musician, an artist who had not even printed her name. She was just interested in music. She went into a local studio in Yaoundé and did some work, which wasn't really professional, but she was so talented. I wrote an article which I published on my online magazine. That was 12 years ago. Do you know how the story ended? This guy read the article and traveled all the way from China to Yaoundé with cameras and every music equipment you can think of. Set up a team, right? And I mean, while he was preparing this, he contacted the artist in question through me, asked her to prepare her songs. I think she had almost 8 songs. That guy left China, came to Cameroon, spent some weeks and recorded the entire album, shot videos for all the songs, and went back to China. And that is how the young musician saw her dawn. So it was just through networking like this. And you never know how this thing happens at the end of the day. So let's keep doing it. And like I said, I have the strong conviction that it will create an impact in somebody's life, in somebody's career someday. We will be back here to tell the story. Trust me, I have many of such stories to tell. We just won't have time to do that. But like I said, let's take this seriously, and believe me, it's taking us somewhere. I just want to thank you so much for taking off your time, and I want to apologize again for the late start today. Just bear with us. You would probably notice some changes in time and maybe changes with speakers. That is also because people have their very tight schedules, and we struggle to make this happen. So we have to, we have to respect their schedules and go by them. For instance, Sevo was supposed to be guest, I think, in the first edition, but we could not because he was so busy. Thank God I had him today. And even when I had to have him at 2 p.m., he called saying that his job wanted him to stay beyond 2 p.m. So we still had to make those changes. Expect those changes eventually, but when they do come, please just bear with us. With that said, I guess we've come to the end of this 3rd edition of the Progress webinar. Thank you so much for your time, and we will be back again in 2 weeks, God willing. And when we do, we will be back with more interesting stories. So thank you once again, and may God bless everybody. And bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully everyone comes next time.
Thank you.
You are welcome.